Hello friends, welcome to last video in the AWT series. Here we will learn about event handling technique and we will know how to use adapter class, and we will also learn how to use the adapter class as an anonymous inner class to handle the events. So far in the video series we implement the listener, then we will ask Eclipse to provide the dummy handler for us. Then we will go and start writing the code inside the required handler. Now in this video we will use adapter class. So the prerequisite here is very first video in this playlist. So let us take the window listener. So whenever frame window implements this window listener, we need to implement all the following methods, abstract methods. So if our frame window implements window listener, it needs to provide implementation for all these methods. So all this concrete method needs implementation. So what we do, so in all the previous video we just handled window closing event only. So when user clicks the window closing, then we will dispose the window. For all other stuff we just provided a dummy implementation. So since window listener is a interface and our frame window implements the window listener, in the last video we saw our dialog also implemented this window listener. So this implements this keyword, and since it's the interface, it forces us to provide implementation for all these methods. So at least we have to provide dummy implementation even though we don't want to handle this event. So in window closing, for the frame window we usually call dispose method, right? So now to avoid this dummy implementation, Java provides a class called WindowAdpater, and this WindowAdpater will provide all the dummy implementation here. So what we have to do, so there is a window adapter. So what we have to do, we have to extend from a window adapter. So this is our class, our handling class, which extends from window adapter. Since window adapter already have all the dummy implementation for window listener, the window listener's dummy implementation get inherited to our class. That means the class which we derive from window adapter is actually a window listener and with all dummy implementation. Suppose if we want to handle only the window closing, what we can do, we have to override only that window closing event. the method. So that's all we have to do. So here if you see, we no need to provide a dummy implementation. Why? Because which was already implemented in our parent class or in the super class or base class. So in our class we can override the dummy implementation in the base class, thereby providing a the overridden version. So here in the overridden version, so the dummy will do nothing, window closing. Here we can put a statement dispose. That means it will close the window. Now let's say in the frame window, what we will do, we will use add, and here we usually pass this, right? Why? Because we will create a class, then we will extend that class from frame, then our frame class or the class that extended from frame implements window listener. Because of that we will pass this here. So now what we can do, we can pass instance of this derived class. So when any of these specific event happens in the frame window, let's say this add window listener is called from frame window. When any of this event happens in the frame window, that is routed to the class which you derived from WindowAdpater. So here for all other event, the WindowAdpater class takes care of the dummy implementation, and in your class, since you overridden the window closing, whenever user closes the window, that is directed to this piece of code. Now we will see a Eclipse demo. So we will use our existing frame window class, then we will modify that to use a WindowAdpater. So here is our frame window class which extends from frame. You can see our frame implements window listener, and because of that we handled or at least provided a dummy implementation for almost all the abstract method which is exposed by this window listener. And since we are interested only in the window closing, there we placed this dot dispose to close this frame window. You see here, when I close, the time this will get called. So there are other event also, window opened, the time we don't want to do anything, window closed after closing the window, window iconified. So this is window iconified, that means the window is gone as an icon. De-iconified, from the icon it is restored. Activated, so this is what called activation. Activated, now the window is deactivated. Activated, deactivated. So all those events you can handle, but here we handled only the closing, window closing. Alright, now we will use the adapter class. So here we will create a new class. So I am giving it as a window closing handler. Then here we will derive that window closing handler class from java.awt WindowAdpater. And if you see, we have now WindowAdpater ready. Here what we can do, we can only handle a specific event that we want to provide a specific implementation here. So before that, so place your cursor here in window adapter, then press down the control. After that, click your mouse. So this is window adapter, and if you see, it provides all dummy implementation. So this is public void window closing. So this is what we want to override. Now let me close this definition. So window adapter, our window closing handler extends from window adapter. That means window closing is having all those dummy implementation. Now right click on, so here is the outline view. So if you don't see outline view, you can bring it from the show view, and you can type outline here and it will show the outline. Click on that, it will open that view. So in the outline view, I'm just clicking on window closing, right clicking on window closing, and I'm choosing source, override or implement method. And if you see, it just lists all this window, the override implement method window shows the inheritance relation first, window adapter, then window adapter is derived from object. We are not going to override anything from object, but here from window adapter we already saw from the definition by control clicking it, all these functions are implemented. So but those are all just a dummy implementation. Now I'm just clicking on window closed, and I will click okay, so window closing, then I'm clicking OK here. Here we don't want to call any superclass method. We know that the superclass method is a dummy implementation, so we'll just remove that. And here what we can do, here we need to dispose our window. So first we will provide a constructor for this window closing handler. So this is the constructor. Here we will get a instance of a frame window. Then we will store that as a class member. Then here inside we will initialize the member. So just importing java.awt. So the frame window is ready. Here we just say frame.dispose. Now here the adapter class is ready. This is window closing handler, that's the adapter class name. Now we can go to frame window and we can remove, first we will remove the implements window listener. Here, so now we can get away from these methods. We don't need those methods anymore. Why? Because we are going to use window adapter. Here what we will do, we will create new instance of our window closing handler. And then we will pass this, that means the frame window. So that's all, and you can see now window listener is not required, and window, those imports are not required. So the class is simplified now. So we have a window closing handler. It needs a frame window. That's why during the construction time itself, add window listener, that's the function. To this function, we are creating a new instance of our window closing handler. Then we are passing this. That means the frame window we are passing. So that's all. So here inside window adapter, we know it handles all the events. It provides a dummy implementation. So for one of the dummy implementation, we overwritten that, and we asked when when user is closing the window, that time I want to dispose the window, so that it will come out of this call and the program quits. All right, now we will run this, and if you see, the window closing works just fine. Now let us look at the anonymous inner class. Here we extended the class and we are using it. So now let me delete this class. So what we can just so instead of clicking save, I'm clicking delete. All right, so add window listener. Now we can put a keyword of new, then say window adapter. So I just half typed the class name. Now I'm pressing Control and spacebar. So from the suggestion, you can see that it is an anonymous inner type. So when I double click it, it provides the implementation here itself. And if you see, this is the class, and this opening and closing bracket says that I am defining the class here itself. And this is the closing bracket for add window listener. Now at this stage, what we can do, we can override only the window closing event here. And if you see, since we are here in the frame window, we no need to pass the frame window instance. So that's one thing. Second thing, this window adapter is a inner class to this frame window. That means it can access the outer class member. So dispose is the outer classes member. So it can freely access that outer classes member. So we are just calling the dispose here. So this will also work. So here if you see, we doesn't even created a new class. So we used this as an anonymous inner class, and now if I run it, it still closes the window. So you can use this window adapter, these adapter classes for other events also. In the previous videos we saw mouse listener and mouse motion listener. Say for example, if we consider mouse listener, there will be a lot of method here, mouse adapter. So likewise we have other adapter also. See mouse itself, you can see mouse adapter, mouse input adapter, and the mouse monitor adapter. Let's just look at the mouse adapter, and if you see, it has all the dummy implementation. So mouse clicked, mouse pressed, released, entered, exited, mouse wheel moved, dragged, mouse moved, right? So just like how we used the window adapter, you can use mouse adapter, like you can put an anonymous inner class of mouse adapter, and you can handle only what event is record. Suppose if you want to handle only the mouse click, then create an anonymous inner class and provide a handler for this. All right. So that's all here in this video. This is our last video. We are ending the Java AWT series. Thank you for watching. If you liked this channel and this AWT series, subscribe it so you will get more update on other series. Thank you and bye.